Yeah, this video record for European Court of Justice I would like to make as an explanation of internal government and court criminal power offense with the absence of possibility to solve such on open legal way within existing legislation of Republic of Latvia, due to the fact that such is not followed and prioritized at the court and prosecution level for keeping internal criminal power with certain aims. Aims of such are internal commercial circles, including taxation and various business and financial cycles, which is prioritized above any individual or private cases with official reasonable requests to the courts and prosecution offices. I have passed through the whole court system in Republic of Latvia, and also I've been paying taxes in two countries, in Latvia and Netherlands, which didn't returned to me as positive or any stated by law feedback or insurances like social insurances, due to the fact that systematically included in such personnel, I called them collectors and controllers of electronic systems are having mentality of collection, nor actually establishing a stable government with social security for thus citizens. Before appointed criminal violence, I've faced a lot of issues in the electronic field for private use of government taxation system, which was also broken up remotely, and no security was for further use. Therefore, physical application to taxation main office in Riga was applied with the reasonable request for additional security measures in electronic field for safe use of such. However, reply wasn't provided in accordance with the law, which states that each government and private or social organizations must provide a reply within 30 days since received application. But in most organizations nowadays, ignorances can be performed without any consequences in reality, or possibility to make a solution. So the case file at the court at local level is containing all actual proof with the bills, official statements, and investigations regarding the crimes, where 5 persons are actually performed criminal activities with certain aims, as kids isolation with no follow-up of civil court judgment from the kid's mother, and in chain reaction 2 police employees and 2 Riga Pardaugava court judges were involved in such appointed violences, heavy violences in real world. So just to, as an example, to understand why this is still continuing, because the thickness of the problems and illegal criminal activities they did in real and virtual areas within government and court electronic systems is still there, and it's not solved up to now, creating further moral loss with illegal decisions which are not justified in accordance with the national legislation. How does the power offense works? It's rejection of the official petitions with reasonable requests for open court processes with the involvement of third parties into the court hearing, for which government fees were paid too, but ignorance and rejections from Riga Pardaugava court representatives, where such petitions were several times applied, but were deliberately ignored. Also, the appeal complaint which was applied to Riga Regional Court and Riga Pardaugava Court with reasonable requests was also rejected. The size of it is a little bit less, but the essence is that one page of rejecting official appeal complaint with the statements and documents, applications, replies from state organizations, where actually smart crimes and criminal machination was performed, can be just simply rejected without any official reasons. However, in accordance with the law and structural procedural order, the personnel rejecting personnel as a judge of Riga Pardaugovo court should be processed in accordance with the national criminal law article 341 for deliberate power offense at the district court on behalf of fake declarations and ignorance of official concerns and documentation from my side. In such deliberate criminal power offense were created two illegal decisions without procedural follow-up from the same court. The other judge with a list of restrictions, forced restrictions controlled by the police organization without investigations or involvement me into direct process. This kind of criminal power offense in accordance with the national legislation article 291 should be processed, and such illegal risks should be eliminated from social and government organizations just to avoid any future unreasonable pressures by the government, state or court institutions for freedom of law-abiding citizens, which in our country can be easily discriminated or simply power offensed or restricted without any existing reasons. So in fact, such controllers or the employees are trying to manage other citizens' lives, violating national criminal laws with no actual responsibility for such. Therefore, reasonable requests for compensations and moral losses was acquired to each court for possibility to make enforcement of national legislation over such illegal activities in the courts and electronic fields, which are a secondary priority due to the fact that electronic and mobile networks are controlled by the and managed by the private area. However, such can be accessed by the government structure representatives and moreover controlled and managed, violating national legislation and criminal law articles without any responsibilities in reality. that makes complete government structure to be out of law, and possibilities for them to manage and control various activities without legal borders as stated in national legislation. That will not come to their understanding or ambitions, criminal ambitions for power over the citizens, organizations, or any other institutions creating an inconveniences and losses for those who might be appointed in such criminal pressures from the courts or government representatives. Concerning the mobile and internet networks, such are controlled remotely through the service provider company and mobile or stationary electronic device brand representatives. We have three mobile operators in Republic of Latvia. One is Bite, which is in this device, Samsung Galaxy S8, and mobile operator Bite. That operator is more close to the TV flows and interests in that areas, which can be also accessed by the government representatives anonymously. That is the problem when legislation doesn't work in reality, and mobile operators can violate such without any existing consequences. Moreover, special programs can be set up for direct management of income and outcome traffic, mobile and internet traffic, and complete data transfer, which makes them to be or to perform crimes with anonymous crimes without possibility for protection from such illegal activities. Climbing of such an issues to the court is not giving any effect, because in fact the court representatives are connected with representatives of the mobile internet networks for the purposes of controls, outer managements through the court systems. performing same crimes at the court level without actual consequences. This must be officially stopped and for actual freedom of each separate customer, and courts systematic instruments must be under full electronic control for possible interruptions. The other mobile operator is LMT, which is national mobile service provider, which having a bit different area of performance in connection with the military forces and political groups in Republic of Latvia. In respect to national legislation, LMT is more close to legality. However, in case any interests are placed above national legislation, such provider is also can be controlled and managed remotely without official consequences in reality. It's mostly about realization of interests in certain fields, nor providing actual service within the legal frames as stated in contractual terms and conditions. The other mobile operator is Tele2, which is more in commercial fields, but with more clear contractual and conditional terms for services. However, also can be overridden by certain government or court forces by someone's requests or curiosities or official order, which makes the mobile and internet network services to be at the average level of legality, and requests from above to be actual crimes. And if such requests are unreasonable or doesn't have any reasons in reality, curiosities or suspects, unreasonable suspects, which must be justified too, doesn't allow anyone to break up into the private life or manage remotely any of internet or mobile networks. that is conclusion in best option of existing performance, which is not working in Republic of Latvia due to the fact that influence from the east is placed above national legality for certain purposes like controls of the government and taxation organizations with collection and keeping existing system or circles running without ability for solving arised issues on legal open way. That mentality is dangerous for civil society and free legal developments, because the performance of official organizations must be within the frames of national legislation and in the real world, so that each person's rights or connections or obligations would be followed and respected at the same level as the ones who are trying to apply power over the law and existing systems. During the appointed crimes and criminal pressure in the real and virtual area, all of my mobile networks and mobile phones were remotely managed and controlled, accessed through the mobile internet data providers. All of the contacts and the contents of electronic devices were checked, were stolen. There was no possibility to protect private devices from such breakups. Moreover, having contacts and complete private information, there were setting up some kind of games for power keeping over other contacts and partners, which makes these forces actually to be thieves in an electronic field for performing kind of games or own power activities in reality. Accessing of the electronic devices through the mobile and internet network providers can be done anonymously, and control of such is also performed remotely. That makes the electronic field of living or use to be out of actual law. And within the borders of Latvia, there is no official protection from such if in these activities are interested political or government or court forces, which might go over the law or over the person, over the organization for realization of own out-of-law interests. This makes them to be criminals. I can openly conclude that. Just as an example, can provide that just as an example can provide that influence through the TV flows and various social networks which are specifically created for certain interests which are not in the most official field, but are made for the purposes of control of the public mentality and certain interests within the internal government structures with the realization of own interests. Reasons of concern to European Court of Justice